Apocalypse plus rebirth plus zombies plus superviruses plus garrison supplies plus space, the global civilization entered the late period of the High Court, the end of the French era, the island country's wastewater, extremely warm weather, and the outbreak of the apocalyptic crisis. And Gu Peifan, who was born into a family and a hidden online racing anchor, was already engaged to his girlfriend in the apocalypse. Unexpectedly, his fiancée A.E. betrayed him to save her life, turning her into a zombie and even shooting him. With this evil aura, Gu Peifan was reborn. 1 month before the end of the world, he dumped his fiancée A.E. in advance and demanded the dowry money, which was a cruel revenge. After his rebirth, he began to endlessly hoard supplies and also met many beautiful women, all of whom he kept and enjoyed the afterlife. Chapter 1. Rebirth from the End of the World, previously summary. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This article takes place in a parallel world and has nothing to do with reality. With a loud bang, Gu Peifan fell off the bed, feeling like he was sleeping and dreaming, jumping off a cliff, feeling powerless and unable to land on his feet, deep and bottomless. Opening my eyes, I couldn't feel my lower body. It was pitch black all around, and the only light was the faint glow from above. Where am I, dreaming? Suddenly, the light moved and a high-tech chip-like glass dialog box appeared, which read, "You have a chance to be reborn, accept or reject 2 buttons." Gu Peifan finally woke up. He had already passed away just now. Just now, he experienced the outbreak of the zombie virus in the apocalypse, and in order to save his beloved fiancée A.E., he became a zombie. Gu Peifan was originally a descendant of a wealthy family. In order to break free from constraints and experience life, he became a live streamer playing racing. The anchor went from being unknown to having millions of fans for 4 years, and also had a girlfriend named Zhang Xuemei. Zhang Xuemei was his first love and also a broadcaster. Recently, the two of them got engaged, but Gu Peifan completely cut off contact with his family. He himself got engaged to Zhang Xuemei and her family, and the wedding date was set for 6 months later. Gu Peifan has always been deeply emotional, thinking that he has found love, but his recent experience made him feel that 4 years of love have been completely destroyed, and the evil of human nature is far more terrifying than he imagined. In summer, the surface temperature keeps rising, and at first, nobody takes it seriously. Until the zombies erupted, Gu Peifan fled with Zhang Xuemei, and endless zombies chased after her. At this critical moment, Zhang Xuemei's legs were weak, and Gu Peifan had to carry her on his back. He fled to the dungeon with his fiancée A.E., but what he didn't know was that he didn't have a dungeon identity. I ran to the first entrance and was intercepted. At this moment, another anchor in the internet celebrity circle, Bai Haoyu, passed by and looked at the two of them looking disheveled. Isn't this famous racing enthusiast Gu Peifan? He can't even protect his fiancée A.E. It's ridiculous. Zhang Xuemei immediately kept a distance from Gu Peifan and looked pitifully at Bai Haoyu. "Be my girlfriend, I'll take you inside." Bai Haoyu sneered. At this moment, the zombie had already caught up. Gu Peifan pulled Zhang Xuemei to run, but she remained motionless and rushed forward as she watched the zombie. Gu Peifan turned around and blocked behind Zhang Xuemei, who was bitten by a zombie and immediately ran towards Bai Haoyu's embrace. Gu Peifan's recollection made him increasingly feel like a fool. With a puff, blood spurted out, and Gu Peifan would never forget the creaking sense of powerlessness. At this moment, Bai Haoyu handed Zhang Xuemei a flame spray gun. "Kill him. You will gain the identity to enter the dungeon." Zhang Xuemei watched as Gu Peifan turned into a zombie, looking extremely ugly, and fired a fierce shot. Gu Peifan fell to the ground, watching Zhang Xuemei and Bai Haoyu enter the dungeon together as flames spread throughout his body. Thinking about the end of the world, becoming a zombie and dying without even biting someone, Gu Peifan found it funny. Looking at the option button, he pressed the accept button without hesitation. In the blink of an eye, it was the same scene as before, and the feeling of jumping off a cliff landed on both feet. Gu Peifan opened his eyes and realized that he had really fallen out of bed this time. Am I really reborn? He picked up his phone and looked at it as June 20th, the month before the zombie outbreak. At this moment, Xiao Yunxia called in. Damn it, you killed me. You didn't even make a zombie. Thinking that they had already been engaged the day before, he, as a fool, directly gave all the dowry to Xiao Yunxia's parents. In addition, there is a villa under the name of Xiao Yunxia. Suppressing his anger, he answered the phone with a gentle voice coming from the other end. Peifan, Mom asked us to go home for dinner tonight. Upon hearing the sound of Peifan, he felt nauseous and hypocritical. The couple were originally birds from the same forest, and they flew separately in the face of a disaster. Okay. Let's settle the accounts with this family tonight. He immediately searched the internet for all the news about the end of the world, but there was no news at all. Even he himself was longing for a beautiful love at the time, and finally there was a result. He had a full month to prepare supplies, and this time he must make that dog man and woman pay a painful price. After calculating the cars under my name, there are 2 off-road vehicles, 3 racing cars, and 1 mountain motorcycle. Only he knows that when netizens see him appear cool and glamorous on the surface, he actually spends all his money on the car and doesn't have much money in his hands. If he wanted to buy lottery tickets or stocks again, he regretted not paying attention to them in his daily life. In his turn in reality, these are simply not advisable. A man can bend and stretch, how did he leave home and go back? After all, he is also a descendant of a noble family, and his father buried countless tons of gold under the villa. He had the idea of gold, didn't he just bow his head and wear a soft robe? The slightly more powerful people of the apocalypse have all gone to the dungeon. Gu Peifan also wants to build his own dungeon. He plays racing and enjoys the thrilling feeling. This post-apocalyptic survival record is very challenging and exciting, making Gu Peifan full of energy and enhancing his combat power by 100 times. He stood up and prepared to go to Xiao Yunxia's house. Just as he stepped out with his left foot, his whole body was sucked in. Still pitch black, he was suspended in the air, unable to see his lower body. It's just another line of text appearing on the glass dialog box. Please select a size for starting storage space, 10x10/100x 100/1000x 1000x 10,000, Gu Peifan ordered 1000 by 1000. Kind reminder. In the ratio of 1000 by 1000, car delivery is required. Originally, Gu Peifan wanted to sell all the cars, but now it seems that he still needs to keep a good car for distribution. Then he stepped out with his right foot again, which Gu Peifan felt so magical. In the afternoon, go sell the car and then go to Xiao Yunxia's house. I left a red sports car and went to the second-hand market. The supplies that ordinary cars can carry are limited, so after looking around, I finally fell in love with a large truck. Selling a car for over 20 million yuan and buying a large truck for only 1.2 million yuan, Gu Peifan seems to have discovered a new continent. Perfect, just drive this new truck to meet that greedy old lady. Looking back on his previous mother's words, he really wanted to slap himself twice. If it weren't for the end of the world, he wouldn't be able to see through Xiao Yunxia's heart. Peifan, have you arrived yet? Immediately. Mom said there's no more wine at home, so she asked you to bring 2 bottles of Maotai over. Dad loves it. Okay. He happened to have 2 empty bottles filled with yellow liquid. The small bridge is flowing water, and the house is bustling. I will show you some color soon. I'm not a big shot. Chapter 2. Divorce. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Gu Peifan drove a large truck to the door of a villa at 88 Nanchang Road. This is my villa, this family is really shameless. When the love brain wakes up, there are many flaws. I walked to the door and pressed the doorbell. The person who opened the door was Xiao Yunxia. Xiao Yunxia didn't see a sports car today, and there was a large truck parked behind him. I thought the rumbling noise was a garbage truck. The voice of Qiao Yunxia's mother speaking came from inside. Hurry in. Gu Peifan could tell that Qiao Yunxia's face was awkward. Why hadn't Gu Peifan noticed before that Qiao Yunxia was so materialistic? Qiao Yunxia's father saw Gu Peifan holding the mutai in his hand, and he greeted Baijiu with a smile. Peifan. Sit down and don't have the same opinion as your mother. Let's have a drink later. Gu Peifan shook his head. No, uncle. Qiao Yunxia pulled Gu Peifan from behind, meaning that she was already engaged. Why do she still call her uncle? His father obviously didn't listen and pulled Gu Peifan to sit down at the dinner table. The food was already prepared, waiting for Gu Peifan's arrival. Xiao Zhenhai opened Maotai and poured a glass alone. They didn't use transparent wine glasses at home, so it wasn't obvious. This old man only thought about good wine. Come, Peifan, touch one. Zhang Xuemei was staring down at Gu Peifan on the sofa. Xiao Zhenhai took a bite and spat it all out onto the food. What's going on? Why is there such a commotion? Qiao Yunxia and Zhang Xuemei came over together, and Zhang Xuemei immediately smelled the smell. Gu Peifan, you're crazy. How could you prank your father? In law like this? The only thing I'm here for today is to get married. Their surprised expressions on the faces of the three of them left Gu Peifan feeling completely at ease. Gu Peifan, I have agreed to let my daughter marry you, but you have withdrawn. What do you mean by that? Qiao Yunxia's mother, Zhang Xuemei, shouted loudly. It's not very interesting. Today, besides getting married, I also need you to refund the dowry to me. What? I don't agree to divorce. Zhang Xuemei had a rude and unreasonable expression on her face, while Qiao Zhenhai sat silently on the side. Half of the money had already been spent, and she bought a wedding house for Qiao Xingran, the younger brother of Qiao Yunxia, to marry his wife. The remaining half of the elderly couple planned to spend on retirement tourism. I don't need your consent, just return the dowry of 2 million to me. Peifan, how could you talk to my mom like that? And you, motherly treasure, stay away from me as soon as possible. Gu Peifan's attitude really puzzled Qiao Yunxia. Woo-woo, mom, look at him talking about me. Qiao Yunxia's coquettish tone made Gu Peifan feel nauseous. Gu Peifan, you proposed the divorce first. It was you who hurt us, Yunxia. The dowry was voluntarily given by you, and we have no obligation to return it. Gu Peifan is not inferior to these 3 melons and 2 dates, but he doesn't want this family to spend a penny of their own money. Okay, since that's the case, no wonder I'm being impolite. I'm waiting to sue. At least Qiao Yunxia is also an internet celebrity. She is afraid that things will be exposed, which will damage her image. After Gu Peifan leaves, she will. She asked Zhang Xuemei for money. Mom, why don't we just go back? I'm afraid things will get bigger. Who has the money to return? Your mother bought a house for your brother with the money. Mom, what should we do? Woo-woo-woo. Woo-woo. If you maintain the top ranking on your live stream, just help your younger brother. Qiao Yunxia has no complaints at all, just spend it on her younger brother. After Gu Peifan came out, he took a deep breath and realized that he couldn't deal with you now. He would wait until the end of the world and then take good care of you. At night, the more I thought about it, the more angry I became. Like a mother, like a daughter. I spent millions on Qiao Yunxia over the past 4 years, but it's not worth it. It's better for an online anchor who has just met for a few days to think of Baihaoyu. Gu Peifan takes out his phone and searches for Baihaoyu's account. Baihaoyu, a new internet celebrity, is a small fresh meat level, while Gu Peifan is the opposite. Gu Peifan is 1.85 meters tall, weighs 180 pounds, has a brown inch head, single eyelids, a regular nose bridge, and the most prominent ears. Gu Peifan's earlobes are super large, estimated to be able to pierce 20-year holes. The whole person's demeanor is completely uncle's attire, and he is only 28 years old. According to Bai Haoyu's information, he is only 22 years old, and indeed Xiao Yunxia has fallen in love with the little milk dog. The beginning is a low-profile video, and he opens it to watch without making a sound. Xiao Yunxia commented to someone 10 minutes ago, "How handsome." Mad, this is already a target, a scumbag. It's so scumbag. Looking back at the previous videos, almost every video has comments from Xiao Yunxia. Gu Peifan had never paid attention to these before, but sometimes he didn't know why Xiao Yunxia suddenly laughed foolishly at her phone. Gu Peifan is so angry that he can't wait for a lawyer to sue him. Call Xiao Yunxia directly. It's so late, Xiao Yunxia secretly answered the phone behind her parents' backs. Peifan, I knew you cared about me, didn't you? Get lost, give me the money back now, otherwise I'll have a sparring with Bai Haoyu. How do you know him? Did he find you? Repay the money. Peifan, listen to me. I've used a portion of the money, give me some time. Don't tell Bai Haoyu, please. Are you so afraid that he will know? Across the street, sobbing, give you 3 days, otherwise you will pay a painful price. Gu Peifan hung up the phone, hating that he had trusted Xiao Yunxia so much before. He must make Xiao Yunxia regret it. Take out a bottle of red wine from the cabinet and drink it 1 cup at a time. Since there is a chance for rebirth again, be sure to grasp it. Only when he was drinking did he calmly dial his father's phone. After 4 years of no contact, in a blink of an eye, the beginning forced out a sentence. Dad. The old man actually answered the phone in the middle of the night. Bastard, what phone call are you making in the middle of the night? Dad, I was wrong. The power of alcohol, as well as the power of revenge, made him feel ashamed to bow down to his father. I know, come back tomorrow. Dudu hung up the phone over there. He sat beside the sofa and fell asleep. Xiao Yunxia had no choice but to contact her younger brother. Xiaoji, can you pay your parents money for buying a house back to your sister first? Xiaoji is not a person without a conscience. In the middle of the night when his girlfriend was still by his side, Xiaoji called Xiao Yunxia. On the phone, Xiao Yunxia kept crying and explaining the whole story. Xiaoji also felt uncomfortable and decided to sell the house to earn some money. Of course his girlfriend doesn't want it. If you sell the house, we won't get married. In the middle of the night, Xiaoji packed his things and returned to the villa. The 2 elders were sleeping, and Xiao Yunxia was completely focused on Bai Haoyu. For the sake of Bai Haoyu, she wanted to completely sever ties with Gu Peifan. Don't worry, younger brother. Sister will buy you a house in the future. Chapter 3. Gu's Old House. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In the early morning, a ray of sunshine shone on Gu Peifan's eyebrows. The light was not dazzling, but rather appeared particularly warm. I remembered the scene when I was a child playing and laughing with my 2 brothers in the big house. Strangely, in the past 2 years, there hasn't even been a greeting from my brothers. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Gu Peifan got up and almost didn't stop. How much alcohol did he drink yesterday? 5 bodyguards wearing black suits appeared at the door. Young master, Gu Dong sent us to pick you up and take you home. Gu Peifan suddenly remembered yesterday when he was drunk and had a late-night call to the old man. At the entrance, a few bodyguards led Gu Peifan upstairs. We're not going back to our old house. What are we doing upstairs? Young master, just go up and you'll know. Gu Peifan arrived at the rooftop, and 3 helicopters were parked in the sky. Long lost feeling, almost forgetting my family identity. However, this identity has value in the last month, and whoever can survive in the end of the world is the king. The reason why the helicopter came to pick up Gu Peifan is because the Gu family's old residence is in a very remote place. There is also an airport parking there, which is time-saving and convenient. At the Gu family's old house, more than 10 large laborers parked neatly at the entrance, and the security guards stood in a row, neat and orderly. Gu Peifan got off the plane and just landed on his left foot with a deafening sound. The drums and gongs are roaring, and firecrackers are ringing in unison. Congratulations to the young master on returning home. Ling Buting, Gu Peifan couldn't bear these things and didn't know what the old man was up to. Gu Peifan calmly walked through the crowd and entered the lobby of the old house. The old man was pushed out of the wheelchair, and Gu Peifan was surprised. Two older brothers followed behind, seeming very unhappy. Gu Peifan knelt on the ground with a thud. "Dad, what's wrong with you?" Gu Peifan didn't expect to see him for 4 years. His father had gray temples on both sides, wrinkles from years on his face, and even sat in a wheelchair. "You unfilial son, do you still recognize me as your father? I thought I wouldn't even see you on the day I died. Dad, I was wrong. I will always protect you from now on." The two brothers mocked behind him, "What are you doing to protect the old man?" This time back, the two brothers seemed to have hostility towards him. "That's not it, there's another one who shares the family property. It's strange to be happy. Well, I'm getting older and my health is getting worse day by day. I'll be fine when I come back. Let's have a reunion dinner together later." Gu Peifan didn't see his mother, but heard that he had gone to take care of his eldest brother's child. He doesn't know anything about his family, but he is a racing anchor and the whole family is paying attention with their own thoughts. At the dinner table, Gu Peifan, the second brother, took the lead in speaking and put in a good job on the surface. "Peifan, you've grown up. Come on, have a drink." Gu Peifan picked up his glass and drank it all in one gulp, but the second brother grew up and had a slight hostility towards him. He knew why. Everything is in the eyes of Mr. Gu. After a meal, everyone hardly moved a few mouthfuls, each fighting fiercely. After the two brothers left after dinner, Gu Peifan was alone with the old man in a room. "You kid, money won't come back. Are you out of money? How's your girlfriend doing? Dad, aren't you looking down on internet anchors? Are you paying attention? It's not bad to be a big brother on the leaderboard in daily life. The treatment is even more friendly than my own father. Are you a flower blooming and wealthy? That's right, plain as chrysanthemum is also me. Fortunately, there's still one flying lotus left. That's your mother." Gu Peifan wished she could find a crack in the ground to get in when she heard this. How could she give such a tacky name? "Dad, thank you no matter what. I really need your support this time. Say a number. I want 10,000 tons of gold underground from you." "What are you doing? Are you crazy? Your little girlfriend can spend so much money. She eats gold. Don't mention her, it's unlucky. You'll find out in a month, whether you agree or not." "Okay, it's okay to take it now. Anyway, all my assets are left for you." Gu Peifan was stunned when he heard this sentence. What about the two brothers? Why is it all his own? "Dad, I will take good care of you from now on. Trust me." Gu Peifan obtained the key to the vault. "I couldn't wait to go in and visit." The ground was full of golden and magnificent scenery, with only a small aisle walked by people and carts. "Today you look down on me, tomorrow makes you look down on me. Xiao Yunxia, you wait and regret it." The butler swayed with Gu Peifan and explained the reason why the old man was in a wheelchair. "Young master, the chairman is getting old and has been struggling with his legs. He is holding on to everything on his own and hopes that the young master can care more about him." "Yeah. So the old man is not in his 40s or 50s anymore. My dad is already 60 this year." Gu Peifan felt that he had wasted 4 years, and now he feels that compared to the outside world, home is the safe haven. By the way, how have Big Brother and Second Brother been in recent years? The chairman has always been pessimistic about the two of them, so the company's business is personally supervised by the chairman, and it is also known that Mr. Gu leans towards the young master. Coming out of the basement, Gu Peifan warned himself to be careful in everything, as there are still 29 days before the end of the world. At night, Gu Peifan also made use of it without any delay. With gold, there will be an east wind, and the rest is not a big problem so far. Thinking of the underground city, Gu Peifan plans to establish a dedicated underground shelter to simulate life on the ground. This involves his unknown territory, first and foremost being the sun simulator. With light, flowers, grass, and vegetation can grow. He wanted to spend a lot of money hiring experts, but without money, he couldn't hire experts. He found expert Zhang Xuemei, the most powerful academician of the Institute of Biotechnology. Steward, no one should know about the matter of gold. The butler listened to Director Gu the most, and the chairman agreed, so he followed suit. SMS reminder, the balance has been credited to 200,000. Mad, she repaid the money quite quickly for the little milk dog. Xiao Yunxia didn't dare to delay for a moment. She had to make do with everything during the day, and her mood immediately improved. It's just that Zhang Xuemei is crazy. She learned about it through Xiaoju's girlfriend's mother, and after all, it's hard to contain it. We're clear now. We don't owe each other anything. After paying off the money, I became stubborn when talking. Gu Peifan is willing to give up and give up. And the villa your mother is currently living in, please leave as soon as possible. That's also mine. Sorry, it's my name written on it. Zhang Xuemei was beside her, seeming to be furious. She had become accustomed to living in a villa. Returning to the countryside, I no longer look up to it. I scolded Xiao Yunxia for not keeping Gu Peifan and letting the money tree run away. Please provide evidence for the house. I didn't want you to insist that it was bought for me. Xiao Yunxia jumped over the wall in a hurry, restless and lacking any tenderness. Wait for me to subpoena. Zhang Xuemei is really anxious. She doesn't want to go back to the countryside, it's cold in winter. Young master, what orders are you giving? Go and tow my car back. Chapter 4. Dungeon Construction. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The butler knew that the young master had many cars, so he called the towing company and sent 5 trailers over. No need, I only have 2 left. Gu Peifan is preparing to personally pick up academician Zhang Xuemei with the help of De Lao at the door. The less people know about this matter, the better. And he also knew that every move he made when he returned would inevitably be monitored by his older brother and younger brother. He observed in the dark and had 2 bodyguards drive 2 cars each. He disguised himself and watched as the situation changed. Sure enough, when the first car drove out of the villa, a black sedan followed from the side. Later on, he felt that he couldn't go out with a big drive, as it was too conspicuous and could easily attract onlookers. In the end, he sat in Lexus with his nanny, who was going to buy some daily necessities for the young master. When he arrived in the city, he turned around and took a taxi to the Academy of Science and Technology, where he met Academician Tan. Academician Tan, I have long admired you. I'm flattered, I'm not sure if I can help you. Speaking of ugly words, I have only 2 mandatory requirements. First, I won't be allowed to come out for a month after entering the underground, and second, I won't tell anyone, including my family. Can I come out after covering it? At that time, I'm afraid you had to beg me. It depends on your performance. Gu Peifan initially plans to build the underground city on the edge of the city, making it easier to purchase materials. Pulling Academician Tan to the sales office, he looked bewildered. What is this for? I'll buy you a house. The surprise came too suddenly. The academician didn't do anything and now owns a standalone villa. Thank you so much. What can I do? Xiao Gu, you are so temperamental. This way, I will work hard. What are you thinking? Just borrowing your identity. If you're not careful, be careful that your family may be in danger. Okay, it's okay to get addicted to fame. Bring your manager here, I want to buy a villa. The receptionist at the sales office is a woman. She looks up and down at Gu Peifan. Gu Peifan is dressed in an ordinary disguise today, and with the addition of academician, the receptionist looks impatient. Just tell me. Gu Peifan is not angry at all, but also a materialistic woman who looks down on others with a dog's eye. Take out a gold bar from your pocket. Say it again, call your manager over. Gu Peifan was impatient and his voice was a bit loud. The manager looked at the surveillance footage and came out worried to clear the situation. Don't be angry, customers. I'll make you a cup of carbonated tea, calm down. Looking at the woman in front of me, she wore a black short skirt and white stockings inside. If I didn't look closely, I thought it was her white thighs. With his large and bright eyes, he handed tea to his eyes. With fair hands, Gu Peifan took the tea cup and accidentally touched his index finger. It's not just a simple touch, but a component with strokes. Are you the manager? I want to buy 10 villas in the urban border area, full payment, and I'm moving in today. Sir, are you sure? Okay, write his name. The manager looked at academician Tan as an old man and hesitated to speak. Gu Peifan is responsible for swiping the card, academician Tan is responsible for signing, a whole stack. The female manager was overjoyed and received a commission of 100,000 yuan for 10 villas. She quickly changed her face to the receptionist next to her. You deduct full attendance, how do you receive VIPs? Go apologize to me. The receptionist was also stunned, who knew he was a wealthy man. Sorry, I was impolite just now. Gu Peifan crossed his legs and lit a cigarette, spitting out circles. It's okay. Women don't need to be so materialistic. Learn more from your superiors, even if you look shabby, your character is not good. It can be said that a woman is materialistic, but when it comes to a woman who is shabby, her strong desire for survival arises. Just about to argue, the manager pulled her away and asked her to stay outside. Mr. Gu, don't be angry. She's still immature. If there's anything wrong, I'll compensate you. Otherwise, I'll treat you to dinner tonight. Thank you for making me earn so much commission. Gu Peifan knew what a female manager meant and teased her. Would you be grateful to everyone for eating? No. Ha ha ha. Good food is never too late, let's talk when we have time. At this point, academician Tan had also finished signing, and the female manager gave the key contract to Gu Peifan. Wave goodbye, the female manager feels regretful, the duck in her mouth has flown away. Gu Peifan rushed to the villa with the academician, and the academician felt so great for the first time. You stay in the basement for the next few days, organize all the basement materials and send them to me. In addition, the preliminary plan for the interior of the underground city has been drafted for me. Tomorrow, I will contact the construction team to enter the site. Gu Xiao, can I ask what this is for? Ask less and do more, that's what you should do. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Gu Peifan has extremely strict requirements in his work, which is a matter of life. He still has to rush back to his old house in a car that serves as a nanny. The nanny bought a cart of daily necessities for the young master, and Aunt Zhang can be considered half of Gu Peifan's wet nurse. I have a deep affection for Gu Xiao. Gu Peifan returned with his nanny, and his eldest and second brothers had been waiting for a long time. It's called to visit the old man, but in reality, it's to see what Gu Peifan is doing. Big brother, second brother is also here. What did this do? Big brother Gu Peifan asked. I took Xiaofan to buy daily necessities. Aunt Zhang spoke up and pushed two at a time. The old man knew that Aunt Zhang was lying, and Gu Peifan disdained to explain. As long as he didn't notice the location of the villa, everything was not a problem. Tomorrow, the three of you will go to the company to familiarize yourself with the company's business. Dad, I just came back and left the company's affairs to my older brother. I'm not interested in the company. Gu Peifan's words almost angered the old man. Bastard. No way. Everyone has to go, one cannot be missing. He mainly talked to his older brother and younger brother to divert their attention. Dad, Peifan doesn't want to manage the company, so don't force him. Our two brothers would be more than happy. The second brother smiled and looked at Peifan. I'll leave it alone. Tomorrow's shareholders meeting, you can handle it yourself. Gu Peifan is really busy tomorrow. He will contact the construction team at night and also go to Zhang Xuemei's place during the day. Having been spinning continuously for 2 consecutive natural days, Gu Peifan knew that it was difficult to do all of this and his body couldn't bear it. Aunt Zhang cooked a bowl of calming soup for Peifan and brought it over. Young master, this is helpful for sleep. I've noticed that you have deep dark circles under your eyes these past few days. Aunt Zhang, it's not as simple as soup. Just say, what's going on? Aunt Zhang asked you, do you have a girlfriend? Cheng Cheng has returned from abroad. Cheng Cheng. She grew up with Gu Peifan as a childhood sweetheart and hasn't seen each other for over 4 years. I haven't been in touch in these years. Cheng Cheng said he wants to treat you to dinner. Aunt Zhang, I know your family is treating me well, and I don't want to be with anyone now. It's okay, Aunt Zhang is just asking for Cheng Cheng. When I was young, Cheng Cheng had a red face with a big snot, always following behind and calling him brother. Chapter 5. Driving Zhang Xuemei insane with anger. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In the evening, Academician Tan sent over all the information about the basement. After looking at the photos of the basements, Gu Peifan intended to open up these basements and expand the area of the underground city. A month's time is tight, so finding a construction team will drag on the time for money. Thinking of these, Gu Peifan was worried. All of it was on his own, and the pressure was immense. The calming soup worked, and Gu Peifan fell asleep on the desk. In the morning, the phone kept ringing, and Gu Peifan closed his eyes to answer the call. Gu Xiao, the depth of the basement is not enough, we need to continue digging deeper. In the afternoon, I will take the construction team in and study again. Suddenly, I opened my eyes and glanced at the time. It was already 8 o'clock, which was the beginning of a day of hope. Driving out of the old house with 3 large laborers and bodyguards, this time without avoiding people, it's just high-profile. Driving to Qiao Yunxia's home, Zhang Xuemei was still crying and using a hunger strike to punish Qiao Yunxia. I don't have a girl like you, loser. Qiao Yunxia hid in her room crying, and she didn't get along well on both sides. Besides, by how you ignored Qiao Yunxia these days. Qiao Yunxia is a bit distressed, losing his wife and then losing his troops. An hour later, Gu Peifan arrived at the villa with a forklift. He shouted inside with a loudspeaker. Please leave the people inside, otherwise I will flatten this place. Zhang Xuemei was originally crying, but when she heard the loudspeaker shout, she quickly came out and saw that it was Gu Peifan. The first thing she saw was Dalao, and for a moment her mind couldn't turn. Yunxia, come out quickly. Xiaoji saw that the situation was not right and quickly went to the house to call out to Yunxia. Xiao Yunxia's mind was full of Bai Haoyu. Sister, come out quickly. Gu Peifan is here. Xiao Yunxia returned the money, feeling that Gu Peifan was deliberately making things difficult and unwilling. Coming out, she was stunned by the scene in front of her. Dalao was the car she had been dreaming of, and 3 cars appeared in front of her. Looking at Gu Peifan again, she looked extremely cool in a black suit with a cropped head. She watched as Gu Peifan shone brightly. Yunxia, please beg Gu Peifan not to let him push down the house. Gu Peifan watched as one person was missing, while Xiao Zhenhai was still taking a shower inside. Step aside, today we'll show you whose villa this is. Xiao Yunxia took out the room notebook, with her name clearly written on it. Gu Peifan, you can see clearly, it's my name on it. Gu Peifan didn't want to talk nonsense to this family for a moment and immediately waved his hand to let the forklift come forward. I won't live anymore, if you have the guts, push it over me. Zhang Xuemei is crazy. The villa is her last straw. I don't have time to argue with you, go and pull her away. The bodyguard scared Xiaozhi back and went to pack up his belongings. Help, you can't do this. This is my villa. You're not human. You have no conscience. My daughter slept for you for 4 years in vain, you're a killer. Xiao Yunxia went to support Zhang Xuemei, who roared uncontrollably. Push me. Gu Peifan stood next to the big labor badge, looking at their family like this, his heart was really refreshed. Let Zhang Xuemei be snobbish and look down on him as a racing host. Today, I will make you dumbfounded. The forklift continued to push forward, and Xiao Yunxia stopped drinking water just after finishing the foam. At this moment, Xiaozhi came out and pulled Xiao Zhenhai to run outside. Xiao Zhenhai came out wrapped in a towel, his bald head covered with foam. What the hell is going on? They were also thrown aside by bodyguards when they came out, and their family watched with their own eyes as their villa, which they had lived in for over 2 years, was flattened within an hour. Later, Gu Peifan had his bodyguard set off a fireworks display to celebrate the foul breath he had today. Gu Peifan, wait for me to sue you. Xiao Yunxia swore to sue Gu Peifan. She didn't know that Gu Peifan's attempt to manipulate them was as simple as pinching a fly, but there should be no mistakes before the end of the day. Zhang Xuemei went completely crazy and ran to the ruins to lie down. This is my home. Xiaozhi felt that Gu Peifan was going too far, but just now he ran faster than anyone else. Gu Peifan is in a good mood. It's boring to take back the villa, but it's only satisfying to destroy it in front of them. You go back to your old house. On the way, Gu Peifan disappeared into the crowd again and went to find the construction team. The black car behind kept following and returned to the old house. Academician Tan has already prepared the preliminary preparations, and the interior has basically been finalized, in the form of drawings. Gu Peifan contacted several migrant workers on the roadside, looking loyal and honest. Brother, do you have any work to take on? It costs 1,000 yuan a day and runs 24 hours a day. The eyes of migrant workers are shining, and these few people have not found any job in the city for a few days. Those who are still hungry and refuse to take on any work are fools. Pick up, pick up. Our old buddies only have a meal for a few days. Can we have enough to eat first? Watching their sincere prayers, Gu Peifan decided to take them to the restaurant. Open up and eat, there will be a lot of work to come, so be quick. They ate their meals in large gulps, and Gu Peifan watched them with countless emotions. How many people in this world are still immersed in the unknown apocalypse? And how many people are still working day and night for a living? If they knew this was the end of the world, would they still work so actively to earn money and support their families? The answer is no. Unfortunately, he cannot tell anyone and cannot change history. The only thing we can do is to make them feel the gift of the world in the end. Eat your fill and do your work. After taking them to the villa, Gu Peifan went down to the basement with a shovel. Old Tan, what's going on? Can we continue to dig deeper? Lao Tan showed Gu Peifan the pre-prepared drawings. Looking at the dark faces behind him, Old Tan felt unreliable. I dare not question Gu Peifan's choice. After checking, I can still dig down about 6 meters, and the terrain here is low-lying. Come on, guys, start working and dig down. Gu Peifan took the lead in digging, and digging. Dig, dig. These few people make up 3 people at a time. Xiao Yunxia had no choice but to follow her younger brother back to his rental house. There was only one tattered bed in the rental room, and Zhang Xuemei felt nauseous when she came in. The toilet was left unattended for a long time, emitting a foul odor. I want to stay in a villa, I want to go back to my house. Her hair was messy, and when Xiao Zhenhai came in, he went to the faucet to wash his hair. Xiao Yunxia didn't like this place either, so she had to contact Bai Haoyu. She was about to leave, but Zhang Xuemei blocked her with a furious expression, refusing to let her go. She always believed that Xiao Yunxia would live in a better place. You heartless, Gu Peifan, you can't even catch this big fish. What else can you do? Let go of me. Don't let go of us. Zhang Xuemei went completely crazy, grabbing Xiao Yunxia's head and knocking it against the wall. Xiaoji came over to pull a stand. Alright, the neighbor will come up soon. Chapter 6. Days of Disappearance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Gu Peifan has decided not to go back to his old house tonight and turn off his phone. He worked with these migrant workers from afternoon until early morning, and everyone was tired. He couldn't stop, as a role model. Okay, everyone, stop for a moment. There's only 10 minutes to eat. After finishing your meal, solve your own problems and continue working. These workers are really just what Gu Peifan says, and they don't procrastinate. Academician Tan was surprised. These big fools worked really hard and beat him down. Mr. Gu did not see Gu Peifan in the company, as he expected. Gu Peifan has been unwilling to interfere with adult affairs since childhood. But he happened to be attracted to Gu Peifan's energy, and he didn't need someone with a strong utilitarian heart. The other 2 sons were like hungry wolves, which made Mr. Gu dislike them. During the break between meals, Gu Peifan was lost in thought as he watched several workers. Suddenly burst out another difficult idea, but time was too tight. Xiao Gu, should we hire more people? These people will have to work for a long time. Academician Su suggested. Do you still use what you said? You developed the solar simulator in 2 days, saving you the trouble of meddling. 2 days, you wait. Look down on me. This old Deng is quite strong, and the speed of these people's work is not slow at all. Moreover, here we only need to dig deep. The less people know about this matter, the better. He alone cannot do all the work, and most people only think he is crazy. Gu Peifan wants to build a large underground shelter in every city. The main dungeon is now here, and for long-term planning, we have to consider a more comprehensive approach. Before being reborn, dungeons were usually temporarily renovated in basements, which were very rudimentary and lacked resources. The preliminary plan is to build an underground city in 11 other locations. Including this main shelter, there are a total of 12. Gu Peifan has been studying metaphysics since childhood, so why is the selection of geographical locations set at 12? It corresponds to the 12 zodiac signs, and his zodiac sign is dragon. The first dragon, followed by the little dragon, also known as the snake, he found things becoming more and more interesting. By the end of the day, all 10 villas had been completed, and these few migrant workers were still full of enthusiasm. No wonder the old fried dough sticks are loafing their jobs. It's too fast to work all the time. It's dark inside, and they can finally sleep. At this moment, Gu Peifan opened his phone to check information and received 2 messages from different women. Brother, do you have time to eat together? Old friends reminisce about old times. Cheng, are you there? Mr. Gu, I'll treat you to dinner when I have time. Thank you very much. Gu Peifan looked at the message, but couldn't tell who sent the second one. Hello, who are you? Cheng's message, in order to keep his whereabouts confidential, he has not replied yet. Immediately, another message came from the opposite side. Mr. Gu, you forgot about me. I am really sad, so I promised to have dinner. I am the manager who sells your villa, and I want to thank you in person. He just remembered that it was the manager, all adults, and of course Gu Peifan knew what it meant. Okay, wait for my message. At this moment, Academician Tan was chuckling from the side. He was a newcomer and knew even better what was going on. Xiao Gu, why don't you go? The girl is beautiful and kind-hearted. Don't let down her kindness. I see you're idle again. Have you finished your work? You're going to another city next week. Don't you say you won't let me go out. You said it yourself. You can't deduct my wages. Academician Tan values money immensely, making it easy for him to handle solar simulators. He is the only expert in this field. While the big guy was sleeping, Gu Peifan started shopping online. I have registered a new account for crazy shopping, and the first thing I need to buy is compressed cookies. This is the most common food, with a long shelf life, convenient portability, and a small footprint. It's just not delicious. Reverse thinking, not delicious is not easy to use. All the compressed biscuits in each store have been searched, so you don't have to go shopping to attract attention. Sitting in front of the computer, Gu Peifan couldn't help but sigh. Cookies were his favorite food before. Finally, placing orders through various channels until late at night, I experienced the joy of shopping without going out. There has been no news at home these days, which surprised him. If it had been before, the old man would have sent people all over the world to take him back. This time, there was no movement at all. If it weren't for running out of money, he wouldn't have planned to show up tomorrow. Before going to bed, he was scrolling through a short video and happened to catch Bai Haoyu, who had not yet settled accounts with him. Although no one else appeared in the latest video, he saw the figure of Qiao Yunxia at a glance. As expected, the woman turned around and threw herself into her arms. He turned around and sent a private message to another beautiful anchor named Cold-Faced Queen. Hello, beautiful woman, please turn me back on. Coincidentally, she was online, and upon seeing that it was a private message from her account with millions of fans, she immediately closed it. Hello. Aren't you staying up so late? Your boyfriend Bai Haoyu is currently with Qiao Yunxia. I hope you won't be kept in the dark. Didn't you just get engaged to Qiao Yunxia? Ha ha ha, you also know that things in the internet celebrity circle change day by day, and we are interconnected. Thank you. I'll go to his house to find him. It was only here that he thought of replying to Ching Cheng. See you at the old house tomorrow. He also wants to know what this little girl has become after more than 4 years of not seeing her. In the morning, he instructed Academician Tan and rushed back to his old house. Unexpectedly, I returned to my old house at 5 o'clock in the morning. Only Aunt Zhang had just woken up to cook when Gu Peifan secretly went back to the house to take a nap. At 10 o'clock in the morning, Cheng Cheng arrived at the old house. Cheng Cheng. Why did you come? Mom, don't be nervous. I have an appointment with my brother. Zhang's mother was frightened, and it's also scary for the young master to get angry. If he loses his job again, it won't be worth the loss. At this moment, the third young master came down from upstairs and the first thing he saw was Cheng Cheng's back. It's really a girl who has undergone 18 transformations, no longer a runny-nosed child. Cheng Cheng turned around with a black and straight shawl, his fair and tender skin tinged with a hint of powder, and smiled at Gu Peifan. Long time no see, you're even more handsome. I can't do it anymore. Nowadays, small milk dogs are popular, and most people can't chew my cured meat. Cheng Cheng unexpectedly stunned Gu Peifan and instantly felt that Qiao Yunxia was just a pile of small dishes. Aunt Zhang left at the right time and gave the two of them time to be alone. Two talents added contact information, and Cheng Cheng has been following him on social media platforms. How have you been lately? Where's your fiancé AE? Hi. Don't mention it, I ran away with someone. Cheng looked incredulous. Who could abandon the children of the aristocratic family? It's truly admirable courage. Chapter 7. Crazy Buying. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Since entering the door, Cheng's gaze has been fixed on Gu Peifan. She has been secretly in love with her brother since childhood, which has caused the nanny's daughter to feel insecure. Now that she has returned from studying abroad, she has gained more confidence, and she feels much stronger than that internet celebrity Xiao Yunxia in all aspects. She has never had a suitable partner for Gu Peifan and is surrounded by suitors, but she already has a crush on someone. Brother, what do you think of me? Gu Peifan didn't expect her to be so direct. When she was a child, she was a bit shy and always blushed. Oh my, sister, don't make fun of your brother. You're a good girl, worth a better person. Brother, are you sending me a good person card? I won't give up so easily. I've been waiting for more than 20 years. Gu Peifan is not in the mood to talk about emotions now. The slow progress of things related to the end of the world has left him at a loss. Not to mention that, I'll take you out shopping. Of course Cheng is willing, which woman doesn't want to go shopping? She followed after Gu Peifan in a frenzy, while Aunt Zhang secretly observed from behind. The two of them were still like when they were children, and they were quite compatible. When we arrived at the mall, Gu Peifan had an ulterior motive. He pretended to take her shopping, but in reality, he was just looking at some daily necessities. Cheng, you love beauty so much. I'm throwing $1,000 today to buy you more clothes and shoes. That would be great. All the clothes in your store are packed according to her standard size. It turns out that Gu Xiao is throwing $1,000 like this. Cheng was also stunned. Today was really a big move. This is the beginning, the real thing is still behind. Coming to the daily necessities area, Gu Peifan saw sanitary napkins at a glance. How could a big man feel embarrassed to say he would buy sanitary napkins for his sister? Just pack all the daily necessities in this house. Brother, you're really my big brother. How could you go shopping like this? Specifically, there are towels, toothpaste, toothbrushes, water cups, and so on, it's too troublesome. How about wrapping up the entire mall? Where do you live now? This is the man. Shopping is too tiring, women don't buy when shopping, and most importantly, they have difficulty choosing. Cheng has just returned and is still staying at a hotel. He has not found a suitable place. Follow me. Cheng looked bewildered. How did his brother change into a different person? After Gu Peifan and Cheng came out, the entrance of the shopping mall was closed, serving only Gu Xiao. He took Cheng to the sales office where he had bought a villa before, and he was also the same receptionist. This time, the receptionist recognized Gu Peifan at a glance and warmly welcomed him, serving tea and pouring water. He specifically called for the manager to come over. The female manager also saw Gu Xiao from the surveillance and came down to greet Gu Peifan. When women meet, they are particularly envious. Mr. Gu, why do you have time to come today? Who is this sister? Who is your sister? I am his sister. As soon as the younger sister's words were spoken, the manager's heart softened a lot, but this younger sister was not the sister she had imagined to have a blood relationship with. Today I'll buy her a villa so that you can treat me to dinner. In one sentence, the two women were both happy and angry. Gu Peifan is simply amazing in this aspect. Cheng finally found out that Gu Peifan was going to buy her a villa, and he couldn't understand his thoughts. She also couldn't refuse her brother in public. The female manager reluctantly sold a villa for a meal. Spending 300 million yuan on Gu Peifan, Cheng has been frugal all along. How could he have seen so much money? What he likes is his brother. Due to Cheng staying at a hotel, the office always carried identification documents and successfully bought a villa. This day was like a dream. Before leaving, the female manager said to Gu Peifan, "Don't forget about the meal." At the same time, she cast a seductive glance at Gu Peifan. Cheng Cheng pulled Gu Peifan and came out. Cheng Cheng really disliked that female manager. It seemed like he was intentionally seducing wealthy people. "Brother, how come you deal with such a woman? I don't like her. It's all to make a living. Brother will take you back, and my bodyguard will pack up the things you bought today and put them all in the basement for you. Brother, you're so kind." Arriving at the villa, Cheng Cheng was so happy that he flew up and turned around in circles, just like a dream. Feeling happy, Cheng Cheng rushed over and gave Gu Peifan a kiss. Gu Peifan didn't have a chance to dodge. He was like a younger sister to Cheng Cheng and never had any ulterior motives. Nonsense. Gu Peifan was angry on her lips, but not really angry in her heart. She felt that her younger sister was too mischievous. "I don't care, you're not allowed to go to dinner with the female manager tonight. You take care of yourself, I have something else to do when I go back to my old house." On the way back to the city, Gu Peifan sat on pins and needles, and there was still the fragrance of Cheng Cheng's clothes in the car. Just now, his heart was beating faster, and he had never felt this kind of acceleration before towards Qiao Yunxia. That also requires timely stop-loss. He needs to go find the female manager for dinner. The female manager had been waiting for a long time before changing into another set of clothes. Black stockings were faintly visible, and a pair of long legs slowly walked over. "Gu Xiao, I know you will come. Get in the car." Along the way, Gu Peifan couldn't help but look to the side, and the female manager sat tilted all the way. Intentionally or unintentionally flicking his hair, his butt wriggling back and forth in his seat, unable to sit quietly for a moment. At the restaurant, the manager followed behind Gu Xiao and took the opportunity to carry Gu Peifan. Gu Peifan walked very fast, running all the way. After arriving at the box, Gu Peifan ordered a table of dishes, and the manager ordered several bottles of baijiu. This woman wants to kill Gu Peifan and take advantage of the situation. "Do you know why I agreed to come out and have dinner with you? Isn't it because you want something to happen?" The female manager was so hungry that she fell in love with Gu Peifan. She has never been trying to sell villas, but to fish for a wealthy husband. "Ha ha ha, are you always trading like this?" "No, you're the first one. Cheating doesn't make you blush." "Indeed, I have experienced countless battles. I'll tell you that I have no other thoughts about eating with you, it's just a simple meal." At this point, Cheng Cheng called a video. Gu Peifan glanced at it and connected it. "Brother, where is this?" "I'm having dinner with clients." "The client is that woman, right?" "I'm going too." There is no way to miss Cheng Cheng, she is afraid of missing this opportunity and her brother will be taken by someone else. After hanging up, the female manager was clearly unhappy and took off her coat. Wearing a strapless skirt inside, the business line is at a glance, making it impossible to look directly at. The manager had a figure comparable to a car model, and she stood up from the opposite side and sat next to Gu Peifan. "Shall we have a toast?" She poured the wine to the brim. The temperature in the private room rose, and the materialistic woman Qiao Yunxia flashed through Gu Peifan's mind. Thinking of this, he took the glass and drank the toast. The two were facing each other diagonally, and the female manager slowly approached and leaned against his shoulder. Chapter 8. Summer Snowy Drifting. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 9. Promotion to CEO. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. There are still 25 days until the end of the world, and only 5 days have passed. Gu Peifan feels that these days are like a century long. After the heavy snow, nothing happened and the water supply slowly resumed. During these 2 nights of hoarding supplies, Gu Peifan's enthusiasm for breastfeeding has been unleashed. I'll work harder today, and I'll eat delicious food and drink spicy food someday. What kind of bullshit love, no need. At this moment, Mr. Gu called in. You are not allowed to come to the company. You must come today. If you don't come, I will send someone to pick you up. Okay, don't pick me up. I'll go over later. I heard he came to pick him up, and I was scared to death. This old man just stared at him and didn't let go. Gu Peifan and Gu Peifan have been in the company for several days, and the old man has not assigned any tasks. They wish they could let the old man die now. Gu Peifan stocked up on water and compressed biscuits, feeling more at ease, and went to the old man's company. This is his first time stepping into a company in years, and the female colleagues in the company are like frying pan. It turns out that the racing internet celebrity is a young master. Unfortunately, the first floor of the company was designed with a long passage, and Mr. Gu had already sent people to queue up on the first floor to welcome the young master. This is a treatment that the eldest and second brothers have never received before. Gu Peifan knew that the old man would come up with this kind of treatment. I happened to go back to my old house to take a shower and dress up before coming out. At the moment he got off the car, many people gathered around him. After all, he was an internet celebrity before. Ah! How handsome! A group of women, who are obsessed with flowers, are crying out. Gu Peifan smiled and tidied up the buttons of his suit before entering the company under the guidance of his bodyguard. The long passage, with employees on both sides bowing their heads. Hello, young master. Gu Peifan looked at such a scene and suddenly thought that all of these would be zombies in the future. His face turned cold and he shuddered. Upstairs, Mr. Gu watched this scene, and today he is going to announce a heavyweight news at the conference. Young master is too unattractive to enter the camera. He's really handsome. Yes, being handsome is not worth mentioning in front of materialistic women. The female employee no longer has the desire to work and fantasizes about Cinderella being favored by the prince. In the conference room, the two older brothers had gloomy faces, and everything had changed because of Gu Peifan's return. Gu Peifan pushed open the door of the conference room, walked with a gust of wind, and sat opposite his two brothers. He smiled calmly as Mr. Gu put down his phone and stood up. Everyone is here. I am announcing a big event today. I hold 68% of the company's shares and distribute 20% to Peifan. He will be the new president of the company in the future. Please take good care of him. Gu Peifan didn't speak, and even without the apocalypse, he wouldn't mind these things. The two brothers couldn't sit still, and of course, the shareholders also disagreed. Chairman, why entrust him with someone begging for food online? Our group doesn't have such a person to manage the company. I'll sweat it for everyone. I don't agree. This is an old shareholder, especially today everyone is here, waiting for him as a young man. Yeah. We all disagree. The two brothers watched the excitement. This is a notice, not a solicitation of your opinions. If you don't agree to give me a share withdrawal now, I will. Everyone closed their mouths one by one. Gu Peifan got up and left the conference room without saying a word from beginning to end, making it difficult for others to guess. Mr. Gu also chased after him and took Gu Peifan back to his office. Why, are you mute? When others say, you, why don't you retort? I see that you are quite capable of hating people during live broadcasts. Dad, you know I don't want to manage the company, can I be happy? If I'm not happy, what can I refute? This is my lifelong effort, can I trust others? Okay, I'm not available. I'm still busy picking up girls. Gu Peifan can only use this reason to evade, he doesn't have time to stay in the company. Okay, I'm happy to have my grandson soon. Gu Peifan didn't know what to say, but those who were favored always had confidence and fearlessness. Gu Peifan turned around and left. The old man never stopped and finally brought Gu Peifan to the company. The old man smiled indulgently. After coming out, he went to find Ching again. Ching was taking a nap when Gu Peifan appeared silently in the villa. Cough cough. What do you sleep on during the day? Can I take you shopping? Brother, why are you here again? In the morning, Ching took a milk bath and slept on the sofa wearing only a bathrobe. Enjoying the beautiful life of a villa. Of course, a pair of slender white legs shimmered in the sun, and the chest was faintly visible. All of this was in Gu Peifan's eyes, and he unconsciously saw it. It seemed that Ching was enjoying life in the villa. Ching covered his thighs with a pillow, his face flushed like when he was a child. Whether or not to go, give me a happy word. If you don't go, I'll ask someone else to accompany me. The manager who sells villas. No, wait for me to change clothes. In a hurry, she ran and suddenly fell off a dog eating shit, causing a lot of pain. Gu Peifan wants to go over and help her. No need, I can do it myself. Gu Peifan suppressed a smile as this little girl made a fool of herself in front of him. Just now I fell on my butt, didn't you see me, brother? Oh my. It's so embarrassing. The more Ching wants elegance, the more he embarrasses himself. Neither of them spoke along the way, but this time they arrived at another mall. What do you want? Even the CEO can satisfy you. Really? Women are enthusiastic about shopping and can make men fall asleep. Gu Peifan used his younger sister's introduction to secretly purchase a lot of daily necessities. A complete set of home appliance repair tools, as well as equipment for exercising the body. Last time I had a chaotic shopping experience, which took up too much space. This time, I only bought what I needed. Suddenly saw the greatest invention of humanity. The protective sheath, TT. Taking all of this left Ching stunned and his mind wandering with thoughts. Her brother had already surprised her enough by buying her sanitary napkins before. Her brother suddenly treated her so well that she mistakenly thought she was chasing her now. What are you thinking? Hurry up and buy. After this village, there won't be this shop anymore. Ching came to Jinzi district to buy bracelets and necklaces. Being pulled away by Gu Peifan, this thing weighs several tons in his cat's house and is of little use. Ching doesn't understand why her brother always buys small items with her. She really likes gold. If you like it, I'll give you 10 gold bars, which is better. Emma, are you foolish, brother? How can I thank you? Promise with your own body. Ha ha ha. Brother. Gu Peifan was joking, but Ching took it seriously. At this moment, Academician called and said that everything has been completed, waiting for acceptance. Okay, I'll go back soon. Ching thought Gu Peifan was returning to his old house. Brother, come to my place to eat tonight. You said you want to cook for me. Chapter 10. One night before business trip. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Cooking. Let's have another day. No, I'll have it today. You go back first, I'll do it for you later. Ching had a proud expression on her face. Her childhood crush was easily taken down by herself, she thought. Gu Peifan rushed back and also brought back the daily necessities he had chosen. He went to the basement first, and Academician had already completed the sun simulator. Don't mention it, you Academician has a lot of talent. You can't use electricity this time, can you? No need for electricity, UV sensitive. The sound insulation board has also arrived, and the workers have started installing it. Just as they came down, Gu Peifan bought a few boxes of boxed meals. Take a break and come over for dinner. A few migrant workers are exhausted and lethargic, after all, they are all running around 24 hours in order to earn some coins. Tomorrow, I will take you to another city and copy the same according to the current process. I will sort out the rest tomorrow. Can I go home for a trip? Academician Tan is starting to miss home. These are only a few days, no way. A month later will be a month later. After speaking, he went around to inspect it, which met his initial expectations. Feeling in a good mood, I rushed to cook for Ching Ching again. Ching Ching flipped through things and found that his brother had forgotten the protective case he had bought. Ching Ching immediately blushed. It's burning red, and her mind wants to go into Feifei. An hour later, Gu Peifan returned to Ching Ching's place. This time he knew he had rang the doorbell, and Ching Ching excitedly came out to open the door. Brother, you can count it, I'm so hungry my stomach is growling. Gu Peifan didn't speak and went straight into the kitchen, starting to wash vegetables and stew rice. Looking at his brother's huge back, Ching Ching was extremely excited. This is something she couldn't even dream of. He is so excellent and beautiful, and that female internet celebrity is too foolish. Gu Peifan hasn't cooked for a long time, and his mind is very simple. He uses Ching Ching to cover up the situation. I'm going on a business trip tomorrow, so I came over to cook for you. Brother, you forgot that things are with me. What? Look at it yourself. Ching Ching is holding a box in his hand. Gu Peifan's expressionless face, extremely embarrassed in her heart, made this little girl grab her braid. Will it be useful to try opening it later? Gu Peifan said calmly. Ching Ching let out a whoosh and put her back in place. It's too scary for her brother to tease her like this. She has never been in a relationship before, holding hands, hugging, or kissing for the first time. Only endless fantasies about Gu Peifan. But when this scene actually happened, she felt like she was dreaming, or else her brother was crazy. Half an hour later, Gu Peifan brought 3 dishes and 1 soup, but they were all his favorite dishes. Gobeira, sweet and sour pork ribs, cola chicken wings, vegetarian soup, rice, come and have dinner. Ching Ching brought over the red wine and filled it up for the 2 of them. Brother, thank you for making me eat enough. You are the first man to cook for me. Is that all verbal gratitude? There's no sincerity. I'll do it first as a gesture of respect. With a heavy gulp, Ching Ching immediately blushed. Her intention was not to eat. Some words she can only say after drinking, and some things she can only do after drinking. She walked over to Gu Peifan and sat down, crying to him, saying, Brother, you know how insecure I have been over the years. You are so excellent, surrounded by beautiful women, but I am the daughter of your nanny. Gu Peifan touched her hair, comforting her that he had always regarded her as his younger sister. But this time when she came back, he was impressed and the snotty girl turned into a beautiful woman. You drank too much with just 1 glass of wine. Take some food, at least I made it myself. She casually hugged Gu Peifan's neck and threw herself at him. Brother, I love you. You little brat, do you understand what love is? I don't care, I'll go all out. Don't you like me? You drank too much. If you keep doing this, I'll leave. Ching Ching returned to his seat and said he felt much better before pouring another glass of red wine into his stomach. Gu Peifan snatched the wine glass and threw it to the ground. He is very angry, drinking lightly is enjoyable, and drinking heavily is harmful to his body. Ching Ching cried in fear, and his brother was not gentle at all. He must have been very gentle with Xiao Yunxia. The fact is that Gu Peifan gave all his tenderness to Xiao Yunxia, which is why he hates Xiao Yunxia so much. It also made him no longer believe in love or even emotions. Don't cry, it's annoying. Ching Ching ran back to his room, and Gu Peifan calmly ate chicken wings. Only with delicious food cannot be let down. Why not have a good meal? Gu Peifan's heart was in turmoil. He couldn't express his feelings towards Ching Ching clearly, perhaps because he knew the other person's past too well, so changing roles was often awkward. Thinking of going on a business trip tomorrow, he reheated the food and left, taking the protective cover with him. Ching thought Gu Peifan would come to comfort her, but when he heard the sound of the door closing, he became extremely angry, this man who couldn't understand the charm. At night, it was beneficial for Gu Peifan to transport supplies, so he decided to buy a cart of toilet paper. Slowly stockpile his supplies, he doesn't want to become a zombie again. Gu Peifan, the next city's dungeon benchmark, regards this as the second most important underground shelter. Everything in the new city has become much more convenient, and without the surveillance of his older brothers, he has become much more relaxed. The first thing was to buy a villa again, and to avoid the situation last time, he directly contacted a male salesperson. Where women are, there are many troubles and delays. Ching woke up the next day and really wanted to slap himself twice. He was too impolite and made his brother angry. Seeing yesterday's food still in the pot, she almost dried up and was so scared that she cut off the power directly. "Brother, I'm sorry, it was me who lost my composure last night." Gu Peifan turned off her phone in order to avoid being disturbed or distracted. Upon arriving in B City, everything went very smoothly and a strange thing happened in this city. The streets are sparsely populated, and few people come out to go shopping, which is abnormal only in summer. Academician Tan, do you know what the situation is? Normal, people here don't want to come out for a stroll. But intuition told Gu Peifan that it was not easy. The few of them first found a hotel to stay in. The front desk of the hotel is also unusually indifferent, seeming to have no emotions like a robot. "Gu Xiao, everyone is hungry. Let's go eat first. You just know how to eat. You'll be busy later." At night, Gu Peifan opened the map to check this place and found something suspicious. There are 20 million permanent residents here, but there aren't many who go shopping. He couldn't sit still and came out to inquire, but unfortunately, apart from the cold-faced front desk, he couldn't even find the person asking. "Where can I go shopping nearby?" "I don't know, it's best not to go out at night." "Why?" "I don't know." Gu Peifan felt that the front desk knew something, but she didn't say anything.